action. We should be in for a good one as both teams are looking to right the ship a bit heading into this matinee matchup. Although Sacred Heart currently sits at first place in the conference, they come into this game losers of 3 straight, all against ranked teams as they hosted the 2024 Nutmeg Classic less than a week ago. Meanwhile, the Eagles, they're on a 3-game skim of their own, but they've had some time off over the Thanksgiving weekend, and maybe on some fresh legs, they could try to sneak out a win at home against, once again, those first-place Pioneers. For Post University, if you're trying to slow down the highest scoring offense in the conference, you have to try to slow down Izzy Chaput. The sophomore out of Wixom, Michigan is one of 3 Sacred Heart skaters to earn a New Hob Player of the Month award and currently sits on top of the conference standings in goals. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, well, you got to rely on your playmakers in such a big game, so I'll imagine they'll be leaning on upperclassmen Julia Wysocki and Hannah Saunders to play really, really well. Wysocki, she currently leads the team in points and goals, while Saunders, well, in the entire conference, she has the second best save percentage and the third best goals against average. Hannah Saunders will be in net once again. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, it'll be Lauren Larson, only in her 6th career start, as the typical starting 2 Sacred Heart netminders are out with injury. So once again, a really, really interesting matchup here on your Friday afternoon in Shelton. We should be in store for a good one. We got starting lineups, the national anthem, and of course the puck drop coming your way just after a short break. So don't go anywhere as you're watching Post University Athletics. Welcome back into the rinks at the Shelton Sports Center. We're just a couple minutes away from puck drop here between the Sacred Heart University Pioneers and your Post University Eagles. So with that, let's give you the starting goaltender matchup for today. For the visitors, for the visiting Sacred Heart Pioneers, it's going to be Lauren Larson, the sophomore out of Dayton, Minnesota. Only, as I said earlier, her 6th start this season. Both the typical starting goaltenders for Sacred Heart are out with injury, so maybe an opportunity here for Post to try to sneak one by a very, very tough defensive Sacred Heart team. For Larson this year, she's got a .301 goals against average and a .918 save percentage. Both good, but not great numbers. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ice for Post, it's Hannah Saunders, and she has been spectacular this year for Post University. The junior out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada this year is second in the conference in save percentage with a .936 save percentage, third in goals against average, 2.13. And man, it is going to be a good one. The first place Pioneers, the Post University Eagles trying to sneak a win out. Everyone seems to be set up. It's Julia Wysocki in the face-off circle for Post. On the other side of the ice, it's Ella Holm for Sacred Heart. Waiting on a few more things just to get set. Maybe might be the clock. We'll give you the starting lineups if it is just the clock just running itself out. It's the first line forwards for Sacred Heart University, Allie Cohen, Ella Holm, and Izzy Chappett. She is very, very dangerous for these Pioneers. The reigning offensive skater of the month. Not to mention as well that there's 2 freshmen on that starting forward line for Sacred Heart. Meanwhile, defensively, it's Savannah Popick and Olivia LaRoche, the graduate student and the junior, 2 upperclassmen. Again, that senior defensive line you should be able to lean on them if you're Thomas O'Malley, the 22nd year head coach for Sacred Heart. For Post, it's Rowan Ringer, Julia Wysocki, Selena McCavicus, that lethal second-line forward group. It's also Danny Amons and Angeline Pitter manning up the defensive pairing. So the clock does run itself out now. The buzzer sounds, and now we're ready to go here at the rinks in Shelton. The puck is dropped. Sacred Heart wins it. We're underway. Both these teams had a little bit of time off. Both these teams looking to get right heading into today's game. Post loses of 3 straight. Sacred Heart losers of 4 straight. Although Sacred Heart, some really tough competition over the stretch of that time. So immediately there's a tie-up in the far corner. Rowan Ringer comes away with it for Post University. Let's see if they can get it out of their defensive end. Heavy forecheck here from Sacred Heart to start off this game, and Ringer just chips it forward. Gets intercepted before it ever goes into the offensive zone for Post, and goes back into the defensive end for Sacred Heart. Under a minute into this first period. And Post, again, heavy on the forecheck. They might get the puck here. They do. It's Jet Devlin over in the far end. Now back behind the net. Post getting the line change in their offensive end here. Devlin just retaining possession, gives it to her teammate, and Mitchell swings it all the way around the boards. Gets tied up in that far corner, comes back out towards the blue line, and Sacred Heart goes the other way. Through middle ice, drifting into their offensive zone. They chip it forward, and Grayson Limke chases after it. She can't get there, however. Kept in the offensive zone. A quick shot on net, deflection, but I don't actually think it ever hit the net. A good takeaway here in the offensive zone. Hegelson gives it up for the corner. And the corner, this is Limke again. Limke tried to slide it into the slot. They couldn't connect the pass, and a good poke check tips it away. Wrist shot on goal, but an easy first test for Saunders. So we're seeing a bit of offensive pressure here from Sacred Heart to start off this game. Just under a minute 30 in. First shot on goal belongs to them. Both teams getting a platoon swap here. The faceoff coming to the left of Hannah Saunders. Good faceoff win for Ty Marie Grom, but it goes Sacred Heart's way. Into that near corner. Bria Holm, sends it into that far corner. Bria and Ella Holm both on this team, the sister pairing, but it goes all the way back into the defensive zone. They try to chip it forward at Sacred Heart, couldn't quite do so. A bad pass in the defensive end, and now the Pioneers come away with it. Into the offensive zone, they couldn't quite get the shot to fall on net. Now Tristan Curry comes away. Tries to chip it into the offensive end, it deflects off a player, and Curry skates off the ice as Post wants to get a line change in. Sacred Heart once again with the puck, just looking for a clear lane up the ice. They send it back a bit deeper into their defensive end. And a good turnover here. Macy Peterson tried to send it out into the slot. Couldn't quite do so. Sacred Heart the other way with it. Pass gets intercepted. A nice play by Pitter at center ice. She sends it back into the offensive zone. Once again, though, Sacred Heart proving to be really strong defensively, especially in their own end. We've seen a bit of aggression on the forecheck, and right now, Post not able to get anything set up when they get into the offensive end of things. Once again, the Pioneers with possession. Takes a shot on net. Easy save that time for Saunders. Blocked it into the netting and will have another face-off. Shot came from Paige McNeil that time for Sacred Heart. 17-18 left to go in this first period. Still scoreless. Post looking for their first shot on goal. Sacred Heart with two of them. The face-off, a clean win for the Pioneers. Send it back out towards the blue line. Wrist shot gets blocked, and now a 2-on-1 could be forming, but Rowan Ringer couldn't quite handle it cleanly for Post. Goes back behind their netting, and out of the defensive zone of the Eagles. Connects to Julia Wysocki into the offensive end. Dancing around a couple of skaters, sent it into the slot, but no one was there to receive the pass. Not coming the other way with it. This is Sacred Heart. Looking to set up a breakout. Good tie up there. That looked like Brianna Morden coming in strong, but got tied up on the far corner. She's frustrated heading back to the bench. Meanwhile, Post comes the other way. Brooke Larson sent it all the way up the ice, and that's going to be an icing. Didn't quite cross the red line before that pass, so we'll have to go back down into their defensive end. Typically this year, Post has been very good in the face-off circle. We've seen it a bunch of times, but early in this game, the clear advantage belongs to Sacred Heart. Once again, another stat they are really, really good at. And if you're the Pioneers coming into this game, you've just gone up against 3 straight ranked opponents. Coming into this game against Post University, who sits at second to last in the Newha, you expect them to really come into this game with a lot of aggression, a positive mindset, thinking they're the better team and wanting to really prove it today. They decided it wasn't an icing. They decided she was actually in front of the red line, so we'll have the face-off at center ice here. And Post will be able to get a change in. Jody Rose wins the face-off for the Eagles. Goes to that far end. Sacred Heart takes it away at center ice and sends it back to their own end. Allie Cohen with it for the Pioneers, drifting up the middle. Lays it out for Chaplet. Back to Cohen, and Cohen leaves it behind the net. Now Ella Holm leaves it for the far corner, and a quick shot doesn't quite hit the net, just get wide of the net. Post tries to clear out, and they do. Now coming up the ice, Jody Rose, 2-on-2 forming, but Rose couldn't handle it cleanly, has to slow it down, pass into the slot, a good shot on net, and an even better save that time from Lauren Larson. How about that play between Jody Rose? I believe it was Macy Peterson tailing by her side. And the Eagles do get their first shot on net, a little counterattack action here. Just under 4 minutes played in the first period. The tie-up, Sacred Heart comes away with it in their own defensive end. Back up the middle, and good job by Post University just to send it back in. Again, that neutralized defense proving to be strong. Now Karis Kell has it. Up the other way, Jet Devlin couldn't handle it cleanly, but tipped it into the offensive zone. Behind the netting it goes. Out towards the blue line, Marley Webster couldn't play it cleanly, almost kept in the offensive end, decided to just dump it back in where Sacred Heart takes over. Through the offensive zone, Bennett, now Helgelson. Helgelson shoots one just wide. Back towards the blue line. Haley couldn't keep it in cleanly. It goes back out to center ice. Well, Sacred Heart will have to reset. This is Bennett once again. In that near corner, looking for someone to pass to, can't find anyone, just leaves it for her teammate. I believe that was Ella Holm trying to lay one into the slot, hit the side of the net. Bennett takes a long shot. It goes in between the pads of Saunders, and she just covers it up. 15:07 to go. Good screen setup that time from Sacred Heart. I believe Saunders couldn't get a clean view on it, and it almost snuck in between the 5-hole. Both teams getting a line change in. Alyssa Antonakis wins the faceoff for Sacred Heart. Everyone gets tied up into that near corner, and now Sacred Heart does have possession. Back into that corner. Angeline Pitter tries to clear it up the near boards for Faberman. Faberman dumps it into the offensive end. A little dump and chase action here from Post University, just trying to get the puck on the other side of the ice. And in the far corner, a couple bodies fall to the ice. Puck is still right there. I believe that was Julia Wysocki who tripped. Excuse me, that was Paige Piper. Pitter collects at center ice, and the Eagles once again dump, but this time they change. And Sacred Heart will take it out of their own end. Addie Boley just tried to dump it in, and now Sacred Heart does the same thing. Dump and change, 14:18 to go. left in this first period. Not a ton of action so far. Both teams just getting that bit of a feeling out process early in this first. Sacred Heart does have the majority of possession time early in this game. Long up ice pass, didn't connect with anybody. It goes all the way down, and that's going to be an icing. No doubt about this icing. 13:59 left in this first period. Only one shot on goal for Post University. Meanwhile, 4 of them for Sacred Heart early in this matchup. They have 9 total shots in this game. Face off to the left of Hannah Saunders. False start called on Julia Wysocki. It's Campbell Hager in there. And they call Wysocki back into the face-off circle. Hagel versus Wysocki, the tie-up, and Wysocki wins it for Post. Out of their defensive end, through neutral ice, dump it into the offensive zone. Selena Makavic is chasing after it. She lays a hard hit on a body into those boards. But Sacred Heart does come away with it behind their own netting. Cross-ice pass coming over this way. Katie Keenan tried to collect it for Sacred Heart. Couldn't do so cleanly. Jody Rose tying her up. Brooke Larson in there as well. Goes out to Wysocki in their own defensive end. And once again, that neutralized defense for Sacred Heart, I mean, you just can't get through there if you're Post University. They haven't been able to set up anything in that offensive zone. See if they can try it again this time. Rowan Ringer. Oh, a good check from behind. That was a really, really nice play. Look at those. Paige McNeil, the third line forward, making a good defensive play through the neutral zone. Allows Sacred Heart to come up with it, but yet again, only for a quick second. They reset things back in their defensive end. Looks like they have a play. Don't know why she's not giving it up for Keenan. Instead, they chip it forward. Keenan gets tripped up at center ice. Jody Rose looking for a call there, but no hand is up. Actually, a hand does come up. Now the Post University looking to get the extra skater on. They do touch up. The whistle is blown, and the first power play of the game is called. So I lied. A little bit of a late call by the referee, Vitrano, and looks like Post University will have the first opportunity here. Now, this is a really big key to the game. Both the special teams for both of these teams have been pretty good this season. Official call does come in. Couldn't quite see who's heading off for Sacred Heart yet. Looks like it's Kate Keenan who gets the call. So 5-on-4 for Post University. The offensive zone faceoff, but a crucial win for Sacred Heart. They have the number 1 ranked power play in the New Hawk Conference. However, Pitter keeps it in the offensive zone. Over into that far corner, Rowan Ringer couldn't quite handle it. Goes around the boards, Wysocki cuts it off for Post, and eventually the Sacred Heart Pioneers can clear it down. Has to reset all the way to Saunders. Really aggressive forecheck. Pass out to the center of the ice, an opportunity, and luckily for Post University, Angeline Pitter was there. Back up the other way now, Rowan Ringer. Drifting through the offensive zone, leaves it into the slot, the chip shot on goal, and it's covered up, that time by Lauren Larson. Only the second time Larson has been tested today. That one a wobbling, bouncing puck. And Larson handled it well. 1:28 to go on the woman advantage for Post. 2:12 to go in this first period. Wysocki back in the face-off circle. The tie-up, and Sacred Heart comes away with it. Tries to clear it out, and they do all the way down to the other end of the ice as time goes off the power play. Kate Hagelson in there aggressive on the forecheck. Julia Wysocki skates right by her, however, into the offensive zone. Passes one into the slot. The shot on goal. They score! It's a power play goal, and Post University takes a 1-0 lead. Rowan Ringer tallies the goal for Post and puts them on top 1-0 early in this game. For Rowan Ringer, she now ties the team lead in goals with her 5th of the season. Her 11th point, and how about this, her 3rd power play goal of the season. So how crucial is that? The first goal of the game. If you're Post, you're looking to upset the Sacred Heart Pioneers. And now they're just looking to hold on here in this first period as they get the power play advantage. Sacred Heart coming out with some vengeance, though, into the offensive zone. Once again, back at even strength now. The penalty assessed to Katie Keenan proves to be a costly one against Sacred Heart. As Post tries to clear it out. It tips off the glass, goes up out of play. We'll have a face-off back in that defensive end of Post. only the third shot on goal of the game for Post University, but they find a way to break through against Lauren Larson and take the early lead. Offensive zone win for Sacred Heart. Goes back out to the blue line. The deflection goes wide of the net. Shot originally came off the stick of Posick. Back towards the net. Gets blocked before it ever got there. Brooke Larson got her body in front of it. Back out to Popick at neutral ice. Addie Boley collects it for Sacred Heart. Tries to clear it out. Couldn't really do so. Goes right back into their defensive zone. Post finally gets that change in. Good job. I believe that was Marley Webster out at that near boards, cutting off the play, not allowing Sacred Heart to get any further than center ice. But here they come once again. Just dump it into the offensive end. Karis Kell collects for Post University. Tries to send it across the ice. It at least goes out of the defensive end. But Anastasia Sloan picks it up. Not a great pass through neutral ice. Does, however, get tipped into the offensive zone. Post can't clear it out of there. And finally they do. Hannah Luckman picks it up. Luckman gets tied up at center ice. Looks like it was Campbell Hager dove to the ice there for Sacred Heart University. Looked like she might have gotten tripped, but once again, no penalty called. That time Luckman got hit hard into the boards. However, she comes away with it. 10:06 left in this first period to go. Post University just with the icebreaker 1-0. Thanks to Rowan Ringer's 5th goal of the season, her 3rd on the power play. Official scoring does come in. The assist goes to Julia Wysocki for Post University. For Wysocki, well, her 6th assist, that puts her tied in the team lead with 11 points with the aforementioned Rowan Ringer. So those two teammates, they play on the same line, competing for the team lead in points, and right now just allowing Post to take an early lead. We have an early media timeout. 9:58 to go left in this first period. It's Post 1, Sacred Heart nothing. Back in here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, at the rinks at the Sports Center of Connecticut, here in Shelton. It'll be an offensive zone face-off for Post University. Just about halfway through this first period. Post with the recent goal to make it 1-0, thanks to Rowan Ringer and Julia Wysocki. They win the face-off. It goes all the way back out in their defensive end. Great play by McNeil to just cut off Danny Amons. And she did get it on net, technically, although very softly, where Hannah Saunders had to cover it up. Dude, Paige McNeil, what a play that time. Chasing Danny Amons all the way back into her defensive zone. Just harassing her. And allows Sacred Heart to get the offensive zone face-off. Gets tied up, and they ultimately do come away with it. Send it off into that near corner. Izzy Chaput has it. Chaput dancing around. Good poke check that time. I believe that was Marley Webster who took it away. No, that was Casey Von den Udelaar, Allie Cohen takes it right back for Sacred Heart, sends it into the slot. Good interception. Slap shot on goal, kicked away that time from Saunders. Good puck control from Post University, cleaning up the rebound. Goes out into the far board. Sacred Heart chips it back on net. Wobbling puck, another save from Saunders. Into the far corner now. Can Post get it out of their defensive zone? They're trying to, and they do. They just tip it forward, and everybody comes off the ice for the Eagles. Some pressure here from Sacred Heart after the media timeout. Hard hit from Julia Wysocki into the board. Whistle is blown, penalty called, and my goodness, Allie Cohen is down hard. Cohen got slammed into the boards. The athletic trainer for Sacred Heart comes out very, very quickly, and a scary scene here. Cohen gets to her feet. It's good to see. getting helped off the ice by one of her teammates. And you got to imagine that's going to be a penalty, possibly a major on Julia Wysocki. Cohen, good to see her get to the bench and now walking under her own power without any help. Just a scary hit. No other way to put it. It's a fast game. It happens quickly. Obviously nothing intentional, but you're near the boards. And you just hope Cohen is okay. She seems to be doing better right away, but that was a scary one. Right now, Julia Wysocki getting a talking to from the officials, and man, it looks like Wysocki's going to get ejected from this game. That's a really tough blow for Post University, if that is the case here, as it does look like they're walking her over to the boards. It's going to be a game misconduct on Julia Wysocki, their leading point getter. Well, tied for the leading point getter, already had an assist in this game, will be out for the remainder of it, and we'll see if it ends up being a 5-minute, 10-minute major. As the referees sort this one out, Wysocki heads back to the locker room. Well, not quite yet. She's just kind of standing there. It'll be a 5-on-4 power play. Sacred Heart getting fired up. Looks like it's going to be Paige Piper serving the penalty, even though it's assessed to Julia Wysocki. No number on the clock yet, so we'll see how long this penalty is for. We're waiting for it to pop up. Got to imagine that's a body checking or a boarding game misconduct, which would mean it would be a 5-minute major, you would think. It'll be the first power play opportunity of the game, and there it does come up. 5 minutes on the man and woman advantage for Sacred Heart University. If you're just joining us, joined a little bit late, it was Julia Wysocki assisted it to Rowan Ringer to bring Post University up 1-0 in this game, but then only a few minutes later, Wysocki laid a scary hit into the boards on Allie Cohen. It costed her the game misconduct. She just got thrown, and now a 5-minute man advantage for Sacred Heart. So Sacred Heart looking to even up this game, and of course on these game misconducts, you get multiple tries even if you do score a goal to stay on the power play. Post just trying to clear the zone, and they do. Good aggressive play from Karis Kell to get it all the way out there and just clear the defensive end of things. Sacred Heart sends it right back in, or about to try to send it right back in, I should say. They get cut off at neutral ice, and how about that defense? Post University back into the defensive zone it goes. Aggressive forecheck on the penalty kill from Rowan Ringer that time. They do get it by her. Once again, really nice play. That 1-2-1 defense, really it's a 1-3 defense from Post University. They're playing it well. And they cut it off once again at neutral ice. How about this? Mikavakis all alone, moving towards the net. She scores! A beautiful short-handed goal. Selena Mikavakis, are you kidding me? Two to nothing, Post University, and you don't see many prettier than that. For Selena Mikavakis, her third goal of the season. And it's her second shorthanded goal of the season. The entire team only has two. Make it 2-0 Eagles. Goes back into that offensive zone. Into the netting, and boy, Post University, they're fired up on their bench. Everyone standing, everyone loud, as they try to kill off the remaining 4 minutes of this power play. Less than 8 minutes to go here in this first period. Goes back behind the netting of Hannah Saunders out towards these boards. Smith has it, tries to send it off into the far corner. A great play by Jet Devlin to cut off that pass. Back to Smith. Sends it all the way across the ice. This is Chappett. You got to watch out for her. Chappett tries to send one out across. Couldn't do so. Back behind the netting it goes. A couple of Eagles, a couple of Pioneers there. Goes the Eagles' way. Can they clear it? Only barely. Goes out of the zone. And Peyton Bennett does come up with it at neutral ice. Bennett has it on her stick into the offensive zone. Looks around. Looked like she wanted to take a shot. Danny Amons cut it off at the last second. Now a hard hit into the boards. Got to be careful. You can't take another penalty if you're Post University. Already down one man, but doesn't look like any of the referees have their hand raised, so no harm, no foul there. Towards the blue line. A ripper from the blue line. And that one deflects off a body before it ever hit the net. Good block by Danny Amons for Post University. Back into the offensive end. Sacred Heart with a lot of pressure here under 3 minutes to go on the penalty kill. Jet Devlin able to clear it out. Pretty big fan presence here at the rinks at the Shelton Sports Center. Bigger than I've seen so far at any game. And, hey, they're making a lot of noise with their team up 2-0. Less than 3 minutes to go on the penalty kill for Post University. Brooke Larson ties him up. Another hard hit into the boards. Once again, I'm looking around. No hands raised. Boy, an aggressive penalty kill from Post University. 3 Eagles and 2 Pioneers right there in that far corner, but no one coming away with it. And if you're Post, you're more than happy with this. Watching time go away on the power play. Eventually, Bria Holm does have it for Sacred Heart. Sends it around the corner. Macy Peterson clears it out of the defensive zone. It goes all the way down the ice into that far corner, and Post can get a vital line change in. Aggressive forecheck that time. Couldn't quite get it, could Ty Marie Grom. They shoot it into the offensive zone. Paige McNeil chases after it for the Pioneers. It goes over to these near boards. Hager over to the far end now. Popick, wrist one on goal, deflects wide, the rebound doesn't quite hit the net. What a save and what an opportunity, but Hannah Saunders denied it. It goes out of the zone and it's ruled down for offsides. 5:23 left in this first period, 1:21 on the power play. You can see Julia Wysocki, well, you might not be able to see it right now, but Wysocki, she's all the way watching, just with very intent eyes, right next to the Post University locker room. You know, this power play was assessed to her. She's really wants her team to come out of this one. False start given to Selena Mikavicus, so another woman will have to come in for the faceoff. It's Ringers. She loses it. That's Emma Holm who won it for Sacred Heart. And let's see if the Pioneers can set up anything in their offensive end. They drift into it. Peyton Bennett with a really good move. Lays it for her teammate Holm. Actually, that's Smith. Back at center ice now. She dumps it into the offensive zone. 5 minutes to go and only 1 minute to go on this man advantage. Good cutoff play that time. That's Kaylee Smith once again. Now drifting through the slot. Over to the far end. That's Bennett. A good deflection on net. It goes off the leg of Saunders. How did she get a piece of that one? As it goes right back into the offensive zone. Stays in the offensive zone. It's a good play by Bennett to keep it in. Back behind the netting it goes. 30 seconds to go on the penalty kill for Post University. Allie Cohen, good to see her back on the ice, but she got tied up that time. Some fans wanted a trip, nothing called. Goes back all the way down towards the other end. 20 seconds to go on the penalty kill for Post. One last surge for Sacred Heart should they take it. Allie Cohen through neutral ice, tried to pass, got cut off. Jet Devlin just sends it back in. 5 seconds to go, and this should bring us back to even strength. Boy, what a penalty kill for Post University. Not only do they kill all 5 minutes of that game misconduct, they actually get their second shorthanded goal of the season to make it 2-0 in their favor. Goes back into their defensive end, back at even strength now. Riley Patfield tried to send it across the ice. Her pass got cut off, as Sacred Heart just sends it right back in. Marley Webster chases after it. Casey Von Den Udelaar in there as well for Post. And now Hannah Luckman. Luckman tries to get it out of her defensive zone, gives it for Patfield. That was a nice looking pass. Patfield shoots it on net all the way from the red line. It prevents the icing. Less than 4 minutes to go in this first period. Pass goes back out to center ice. Amons collects it, sends it right back into the offensive zone. Hannah Luckman chasing after it. She couldn't quite get there. It stays in, however, and there's a wobbling puck. Blocker to side that time from Larson. Sacred Heart collects it behind their own net. Aggressive forecheck from Tristan Curry. It stays in that defensive zone of the Pioneers. Only briefly, it does come out, as Post University will have to touch up on sides. Sammy Bowlby sent it into the offensive zone for Sacred Heart. Danny Amons collects, but chasing after it quickly is Limke as well. Around the boards it goes, stays in the offensive zone. A good play by Popick. She takes the slap shot, and it's gloved down that time by Saunders. Boy, Hannah Saunders, she was tested a ton very early in this game, but that Post University Eagles defense, it has stiffened up here in the second half of the first, and that was her first test in quite a while. 9 shots on goal total for Sacred Heart University. Meanwhile, 6 shots on goal for Post, and it's Post with a 2-0 lead. Face off to the right of Saunders. They win it. Popick takes the shot. It goes off the body of Macy Peterson. And Post clears the defensive end. Back out into neutral ice. Savannah Popick collects in her own defensive end. Tries to send all the way up the ice and does. This is an opportunity for Bria Holm, but only if she could have handled it cleanly. Sends it into the slot. Nice, smart stick from Hannah Saunders as she cut off that pass herself. Now with quick 3-on-2 forming, but smart play there. Macy Peterson tried to just dump it into the offensive zone. Instead, went straight into the Pioneers bench. Over 2 minutes to go here in this first. It's Post University with the 2-0 lead thanks to Selena McCavicus' second shorthanded goal of the season. And Rowan Ringer, she got her fifth goal of the season earlier in this first. Post wins the neutral zone faceoff. They dump it into the offensive end. Back to collect to Sacred Heart. They send it up all along the far boards, and here's McNeil. McNeil with a 2-on-1 forming, tries to send it into the slot, and a great defensive stick from Brooke Larson. Boy, the heads-up poke checking from Post University today has been something to admire. They've gotten their sticks in the way of passes, they've gotten their sticks in the way of breakaways, and now McCavicus finds herself in the offensive zone but couldn't handle the shot, and the shot went wide of the net. Stays in the O end, actually gets cut off by McNeil quickly, but McNeil lost her stick. This is McCavicus. Tries to send it across the ice, but a bad pass leads up for Chapman, and Chapman takes a shot, easily kicked away by Saunders. Looked like it got out of the offensive zone for a quick second, but they ruled that it didn't. Sacred Heart never had a touch up, but now it's definitely out of there, as both teams will get a bit of a line change in. Oh, Izzy Chapman might have caught Post in a line change. She takes the shot off the master rebound opportunity, and another great save from Saunders. Boy, Saunders standing on her head early in this first period. It goes all the way down to the other end of the ice. 45 seconds to go in this first. Post just trying to cling on to this 2-0 lead into the intermission. Send it back into the offensive end. A couple of Eagles get off the ice, and the Pioneers will reset things. Good forecheck. That was Jet Devlin who cut off the pass. Devlin collects it herself, takes it behind the net, has a man open at the blue line. Pitter handles it cleanly. Shoots one, but good block that time from Sacred Heart. Couldn't quite see who it was. It was Allie Cohen getting her body in front of that one. 21.3 seconds left to go in this first period. Good, really good to see Allie Cohen back on the ice. She looked like she was out for a second after taking a hard hit into the boards. And not only is she back on the ice, but she's getting her body in front of pucks. Savannah Popick takes it for Sacred Heart. Popick has gotten a lot of ice time early in this first period. The trends you start noticing as we wind down. Less than 10 seconds to go. We'll have another whistle here. Looked like the puck might have bounced into the bench of Sacred Heart. 7.4 left to go in this first period. Most of the stats lean toward the Pioneers' way. It's 13 shots on goal as opposed to 6 in favor of Sacred Heart. 13 faceoffs as opposed to 6 in favor of Sacred Heart. And 1 power play for each side. But Post University with 2 special teams goals, 1 on the power play, 1 on the penalty kill. And that gives them the 2-0 lead heading into this first intermission break. Boy, you couldn't be much happier if you're Pat Bingham with the way your squad is playing. But now it's about holding on and coming out with that same energy for the next 2 periods. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in 15 minutes as you're watching Post University Athletics. Welcome back into the rinks at the Sports Center of Connecticut here in Shelton. As boy, oh boy, do we have a game in store for you. It's 2-0. Post University, who currently sit in second to last place in the NUHA, taking on Sacred Heart University at 11-6-0, 10-2-0 at first place in the NUHA, but it's a 2-0 advantage in favor of the home underdog today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Max Stapleton, and joined alongside our entire crew here at Post University, we're thrilled to be taking you through the action here at the rinks at the Shelton Sports Center. Boy, what a first period that was. Despite getting outshot 13-6, out face-offed 14-6, and out power played 2-1, Post University found a way to take a 2-0 lead. First, it came off the goal from Rowan Ringer, for Ringer, her 5th goal of the season, assisted by Julia Wysocki. And then Julia Wysocki laid a hard hit on Allie Cohen. She got a game misconduct, ejected from the game in a 5-minute major penalty. But it didn't matter, as it was a beautiful goal from Selena Mikavikas. And when I say beautiful, I mean amazing. Like a truly, truly great goal that put the Eagles on top 1-0 over the Pioneers. Both first lines are out there. Looks like Noah Farberman moved up to the first line in the ejection of Wysocki. Post wins the faceoff, takes a long shot on goal from center ice, and we're underway here in the second. So immediately Post wins the faceoff, they shot it back in, and now Sacred Heart has possession. This is LaRoche. Tries to send into the offensive zone, but the pass got cut off before she ever got there. Ella Holm able to clean it up, and ultimately it does go behind the net of Post. Back out to those far boards. Sacred Heart keeps in the offensive zone. A bouncing puck towards the net. I believe Saunders had to get her stick on it. Both teams change sides in between that period. Post heading left to right. Sacred Heart heading left to right. They take a long shot on goal, but Peyton Bennett, that shot easily gobbled up by Hannah Saunders. Saunders gets a couple taps on the helmet. Just about 40 seconds into the second period of play. Sacred Heart keeping that same line out there. Meanwhile, Post gets a quick change in, which should expect to see a bit more often from the Eagles, especially playing with a woman down now. Face off to the left of Saunders, and a good win for Post. Send it back to those near boards. Ruby Mitchell tries to play it off the boards, couldn't do so. A quick shot on goal, easily stopped aside. Goes back behind the netting. For Sacred Heart, goes back towards these boards. Bennett sends it to the other end now. Ella Holm takes a slap shot. The rebound opportunity. It's still loose. It goes back behind the netting now. Good couple of saves from Saunders. Pass goes into the slot, but Jody Rose harasses a skater out there. Now over to the far boards, and Post finally gets it out of their own defensive end. Collected at neutral ice by Sacred Heart. They send it right back in. That was Paige McNeil who dumped it off. Goes back to the far end. And somehow Post University, once again, able to clear it. Only temporarily. Sacred Heart sends it through. Anastasia Sloan has it at center ice for the Pioneers. Gives it off to Bria Holm, and Bria Holm gets checked. A good hit that time from Marley Webster for Post. Back out to Holm in that far corner. A couple of Eagles there to tie her up. Alyssa Anatonkis was able to send it into the far corner for Sacred Heart. And a good job by Post University here, just keeping the puck around the boards, not allowing the Pioneers to get sent up at neutral ice. Does go all the way down the ice, and it'll be an icing, however, with 18:02 left to go in this second period. Puck has been majority, you know what I'm trying to say. The puck has been on the Eagles' defensive side of the ice for a few minutes now. But once again, it's not a whole lot of shots on goal here in the second period. The tie-up off the face-off. No one's come away with it yet, but Post does eventually win it. Jody Rose sends it back to that far corner. Ruby Mitchell sends it through neutral ice, and now Rose has it once again. 1-on-4 for Jody Rose going into the offensive zone, and she just slows it down in that far corner. Olivia LaRoche tying her up, and she lays an extra hit down on Rose. Now comes back into this far corner, but Rose will have to touch up on sides before they can make a play. Over to this near side now. Paige McNeil sends it into the offensive end. Karis Kell collects for the Eagles. Doesn't quite get out of the defensive zone. Bennett's kept it in. And Karis Kell recollects things, and Eagles just trying to slow things down, maybe get a breakout play going. Off the boards, intended for Tristan Curry. She couldn't collect it, and now it's a race for the puck, and it does get whistled down for icing. Oof. Hannah Luckman was racing hard after that one, but couldn't quite get the whistle to go her favor. Goes all the way down to the other side of the ice. Face-off will be to the right of Hannah Saunders. Tie up off the face-off. A couple of bodies fall down to the ice, and Post has possession. Drifting quickly through neutral ice, Karis Kell into the offensive zone, gets tied up hard. A body goes down to the ice in the process. That was Peyton Bennett who got leveled. Good aggressive forecheck. That was Paige Pfeiffer who tried to take the puck away, and they do. Tristan Curry with an opportunity, shoots and save. Good save by Lauren Larson off the pad. Back out to the blue line, bouncing puck doesn't reach the netting. Went off the body of Peyton Bennett, but Karis Kell keeps it in the offensive zone. Back out to Kell, and this time it does go out of the offensive end of things. However, the Eagles do tie it right back in. Peyton Bennett collects. Couldn't quite clear the zone. Paige Pfeiffer tries to keep harassing Ella Holm as she drifts through neutral ice. Got tied up, lost the puck, and eventually it does go into that post defensive end. 16-18 left to go in this second period. A lot of action, and there's a quick shot on goal, a tough angled shot, and easily kicked away that time from Saunders. Good forecheck. Sees them wide open. A great move out in front and a beautiful save from Saunders. Penalty called. We have a whistle here. It looks like someone might be hurt, actually. Not quite a penalty, but an injury as Karis Kell's coming off the ice. Boy, that was a beautiful, beautiful move for Kate Helgeson, the second highest point getter on Sacred Heart so far this season. She got rid of a defender with a deke and went to her backhand against Hannah Saunders. But hey, Hannah Saunders, she's been tremendous this year, just came up with a better save. Post with Sacred Heart with a lot of pressure here in the first 5 minutes of the second period. Eagles clear their defensive zone, only temporarily. Helgeson has it on her stick again. Dances around a couple of defenders, tries to stay on her feet, eventually gets knocked down, but the puck does end up in that offensive zone of Sacred Heart. Faderman comes away with it, sends it off the boards, goes off a referee, and it ends up going to herself, whistled down for offsides. So far in the second period of play, it's 6 shots on goal already for Sacred Heart, just 2 for the Eagles. Pretty big disparity, but there was a similar trend early in the first period, and eventually Post did come close to evening up almost all of the stats. Puck comes back towards these near boards, gets out of the Sacred Heart defensive end of things. Danny Amon sends it right back in. Around to the near corner, Olivia LaRoche collects for the Pioneers. Couple of tie-ups here. Post couldn't quite get there. Olivia LaRoche tries to recollect it. So far, no one really coming away with sustained possession here, and now the Eagles might have. Angeline Pitter, however, couldn't handle it cleanly. Back into the far corner it goes. LaRoche, with under 15 minutes to go in this second period of play, gets tied up by Noah Farberman. What a play by her. Again, only temporarily. Post just not able to get set up. Good defensive stick. That's Jet Devlin harassing a skater. Puck bounces almost into the crease of Saunders. A smart play by her just to knock it into that near corner. Post has possession of it. Devlin gives it for Ringer. Ringer tries to get it out of her defensive end. Couldn't do so. Heads up play by Addie Bowlby to keep it in there, but now Ringer does clear. Comes out to center ice, and Riley Patfield sends it into the offensive end. Kaylee Smith collects, but couldn't collect cleanly. Patfield right there, aggressive on the forecheck, couldn't come away with it. Jody Rose now harassing a Pioneer. Sacred Heart goes to the far end of things. Tries to give it for McNeil. McNeil gets tied up in that far end. And both these teams, if you notice the defensive pattern here, they're not letting teams get into the middle of the ice. However, as I say that, there's an opportunity for Rose. She shoots it on goal, and a nice kick save from Larson. Well, the broadcaster's jinx at its finest there. Good opportunity for Jody Rose right in the middle of the ice, but better save from Larson kicking it away. Puck clears the defensive end. Webster has it, gives it for Tristan Curry, and Curry gets tied up, ruled down offsides. Boy, quick moving second period already, 6 minutes, 20 seconds in. No goals here in this second, a 2-0 Post advantage. Face-off numbers have been really helpful for the Eagles so far in this second period, and once again, the jinx proves full as Sacred Heart won it for a second, but it does go post-way at the end of things. Back behind the netting it goes, and it goes into the netting. We'll have another face-off in the Eagles' offensive zone. It's Ty-Marie Grom in there for Post University. Ella Holm for Sacred Heart, and Grom wins it. Big win for Grom. They send it back deeper, back behind the netting, and a couple of trips, a couple of aggressive plays, no penalty called. And everyone stays right where they are. To the far corner, 2 Eagles and 2 Pioneers right there. And a long tie up here. No one really coming away with it. Noah Farberman gets in there to help for Post. And Farberman comes away with it. Out to those far boards, just tries to shoot one on net, gets deflected wide before it ever got there. Good stick by Anastasia Sloan to deflect it wide. She gets tied up in that near corner, and once again, we've seen it a few times this year, but Post, they really love their forecheck. They stay aggressive here in the second period. Larson sends it back behind her own netting. I believe this is Karis Kell drifting through her own defensive end, tries to send it all the way across the ice. Pass couldn't connect. Now Allie Cohen into the offensive zone for Sacred Heart. That's collected by the Eagles. And Karis Kell, once again, trying a long up ice pass, but once again, it's just not working for Post, trying to get that play to go into the offensive zone. Sacred Heart dumping and chasing, trying to get things set up. The puck was loose in front of the net. Don't believe it ever got on goal, but a scary opportunity there for Sacred Heart. That one did, and Hannah Saunders had to get her stick on that. Now Popik takes a bouncing shot, tries the one-timer, and a huge whiff. I believe that was Lake Beathard who just couldn't get her stick on it. Either Beathard or Limke couldn't quite see the number, and another heavy hit. Penalties raised, and Sacred Heart will go on the man advantage. Extra skater on, the long shot on goal. Saunders covers up, and we have the whistle. Looked like it's going to be a body checking penalty. We'll see who it's assessed to. Clear as day right in front of the referee, and for the second time tonight, the Pioneers will go on the woman advantage. It's Brooke Larson going into the box for body checking for Post. 0 for 1 on the power play so far today is Sacred Heart. They had that 5-minute major advantage when it was assessed to Julia Wysocki in the first period, but only a few shots on goal. And in fact, it was Post who got a shorthanded goal. So we'll see if the Pioneers can do better this time. They win the faceoff, but really aggressive on the defensive end are the Eagles. They do slow it down. This is LaRoche. Off to the far end, Popik. Now drifting at the blue line, back to LaRoche. LaRoche tries the one-time shot, but she couldn't handle it. In fact, whiffed on it. It's collected by her teammate. Now the puck is loose, and a good defensive stick from Danny Amons to just shoot it into the corner. Chapit sends it into the slot. Once again, a great defensive play. Couldn't quite see who it was. It looked like Angeline Pitter over here who intercepted it and cleared it all the way down the ice. That was Pitter. So Sacred Heart resets things. Less than a minute 20 to go on this power play. Savannah Popik. Aggressive forecheck from Jet Devlin. Couldn't quite handle it. Now Olivia LaRoche. Through center ice. Dumps it into the offensive zone. Von Den Udelaar there to collect it for Post. Tries to send it out, couldn't do so. Peyton Bennett's in that near corner, tries to take a shot. A nice block that time from Jody Rose, sacrificing her body and clearing it all the way down the ice. Almost halfway through this game, 50 seconds to go on the man advantage. Back into Post's defensive end of things. Von Den Udelaar picks it up, tries to send it around the boards, but a good job by Sacred Heart keeping it in the offensive zone. Kaylee Smith couldn't handle it, and how about Post University's penalty kill? 30 seconds to go on the man advantage. Helgeson dumps it, chips it into the offensive zone, I should say. Danny Amons picks it up in that near corner. Helgeson poke checks it away. The wraparound attempt, but they couldn't quite get the shot on goal. Less than 15 seconds on the man advantage. Still in Sacred Heart's offensive end of things. Danny Amons has it, back behind Post's net. Tries to slow it down and sends it up the ice, and that should do it. Boy, make the Eagles 2 for 2 on the penalty kill so far today with a 1-goal advantage on the special teams. 2 goals advantage on the special teams if you include their own power play. Limke sends it across the ice for LaRoche. LaRoche moves into the offensive zone. Tried a long shot for a rebound, but couldn't quite hit the net. Post tries to clear, couldn't do it the first time. Peterson able to clean it up the second time around. Now LaRoche has it once again. Back into the offensive zone goes Sacred Heart. And Atonka slides one for her teammate. She takes the shot and it goes off the post. Oh, almost a great opportunity for Sacred Heart, but the post at goalie's best friend, and it saves Saunders there. Out of the defensive zone come the Eagles. Ruby Mitchell into the offensive end of things. Actually, that's McKay. No, that was Ruby Mitchell. I was correct in the first place. They still have possession. Mitchell leaves it for her teammate. And eventually Sacred Heart does come away without the Eagles getting a shot on goal. Back through neutral ice, a hard hit. Post just sends it back into their offensive end. Chasing after it for them is Jet Devlin. Couldn't quite handle it cleanly. And a really nice forecheck from Rowan Ringer. Back out towards the blue line. Larson takes the slap shot. It hits a body before it ever hit the net. Good job by Savannah Popick getting herself in front of that one. Back towards these near boards. And Brooke Larson almost kept it in. Couldn't quite do so. Left it for her teammate. And now Jody Rose has it. Rose into the offensive zone. Dumps it in. Gets collected by Sacred Heart. A hard hit into the boards. And somebody's down in this near corner here. No whistle is blown. Another hard hit into the boards. And a couple of aggressive plays from Post University. A couple of injured skaters. And a whistle is finally blown as the puck goes in the roof. It was Brianna Morden who went down hard for Sacred Heart as she's getting checked out by the athletic trainer on their own bench. Boy, some highly aggressive play here in the second period. No goals scored, but a lot of fun hockey. It's Post with a 2-0 lead here at the Shelton Sports Center. Back in here at the Shelton Sports Center, just under 8 minutes to go. Post clinging on to that 2-0 lead over the first place Pioneers. Be an offensive zone faceoff for the Eagles. Ty Marie Grom moves in, loses the faceoff. Goes all the way to the far corner. Katie Keenan picks it up, tries to get it out of her defensive zone, barely does. And now Peyton Bennett cleans it up for Sacred Heart. Over to the other end of the ice. No clean possession for the Pioneers. Tristan Curry comes away with it. Dumps it into the offensive end. Jet Devlin chasing after it. Actually, that's Hannah Luckman chasing after it for Post University. Couldn't get there. Instead, it's Kaylee Smith and Peyton Bennett's both there. Tries to leave her for McNeil. And Smith has it again. Sends it around to the other end. They'll try it this way. Good cutoff play from Post. Really good job just keeping the pressure on, forcing Sacred Heart to stay in their own defensive end. The puck hasn't left their defensive end for a few minutes now. It finally does into the neutral ice, but really, once again, quick tie up here. Really aggressive defense from Post. They just keep their foot on the gas pedal here. And Sacred Heart just not able to get anything set up in the second half of this second period. Farberman, nice move, bank pass to herself and goes into the offensive zone. Gets cut off hard by Chaplet. Puck drifts out back behind the netting. Sacred Heart just happy to clear it out of there, or Danny Amons will pick it up for Post. Puck loose at neutral ice. Pioneers do have it. Kaylee Smith tries to set something up. Leaves it for her teammate, but no one really there to collect it. Not sure why McNeil didn't try to get her stick on it that time. And still goes into the offensive zone. Ella Holm has it at that near corner for Sacred Heart, but immediately a couple of Eagles harassing her right away. She tries the shot and never hit the net. Might have gone off a stick of Post University. A good opportunity here. The quick wraparound shot. A great play, but a better save from Saunders. Another shot, but it hit a body. Deflects wide of the netting. Post just happy to get it all the way out of there. It was Savannah Popick with a beautiful wraparound attempt. And after the whistle, she was a little frustrated that she couldn't quite get that one to go in. Man, Hannah Saunders, and we said it in the pregame show, one of the premier goalies in the NUHA this year, and she's showing why today. As Sacred Heart just has not been able to figure out the puzzle that is Hannah Saunders yet. They do win the offensive faceoff. They have possession. Back towards the blue line now. Popick leaves it on the other side. Limke into the slot, takes the shot, but it deflects and goes right into the pad of Saunders where she covers it up. 5:46 left to go in this middle period. Post getting a complete platoon swap here. Looks like it's that third line forward group out there. Same line for Sacred Heart. That second line group. They win the faceoff, goes back out to the blue line. Shot didn't hit the net. Looked like it was just aimed wide. Rowan Ringer collects around those near boards. Tries to find her way out with some path towards any type of clearance, but couldn't really do it. Back behind the netting it goes. Brooke Larson has it. Over to these near boards, and finally Post able to just get it out of their defensive end. It should be an icing should they win this race. Actually, they said that someone touched it at center ice and no icing called. Pass it out into the slot. No one could connect. Grayson Limke comes the other way. Limke drifting through center ice. 2-on-2 turning into a 3-on-3. Goes to the far boards and just slows it down. Post intercepts the pass, gets it out of their defensive zone. 5 minutes to go here in this second period of play. Limke, bang pass, no one there to collect it. Back out. Brianna Morden got hit hard, actually it was Brianna Morden who hit somebody hard. Whistle is blown, and that's going to be an interference penalty against Sacred Heart. Not going to lie, pretty surprised about that call, but looks like Post University will go on the woman advantage for the second time today. Brianna Morden gets assessed the penalty. We'll see what the call is. Going to be an interference, I believe, on Brianna Morden. So Post University, 1-for-1 on the power play so far, looking to make it 2-for-2. 2-minute woman advantage. They give it off towards center ice. Pitter leaves it for the teammate. The one-time opportunity. Puck is still loose out in front. It's still loose. No one has possession. Another shot on goal. And eventually Sacred Heart clears it out of there. Boy, early action in the power play for Post University, but good heavy race for the puck as Saunders is forced to cover her up in her own defensive end. Both teams getting a couple of changes in. 4 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the second period. 1:42 on the power play, assessed to Brianna Morden. Defensive zone face-off win, a crucial win for Post as they slow things down, look to set up a lane. Ringer gets tied up at center ice, finds a way to keep the puck on her stick, goes into the offensive zone, sends it out in front, and it was a great pass, but I don't think Jet Devlin was ready for it. Back to Ringer. Now into that far corner, Brooke Larson looking for a lane to pass it to, can't find anyone, just takes it around the netting. Now at this far side, leaves it for Vonda Udelaar. Udelaar with a shot, and that one goes off the glove of Larson. Sacred Heart able to clear it all the way down the ice, and Post not in great possession. A bit of a 2-on-1 turning into a 2-on-2 now, and Sacred Heart more than happy to just slow it down. Post gets possession back. Peyton Bennett intercepts the pass, sends it right back into the Eagles' defensive end. Now Jet Devlin through center ice. Less than a minute to go on the power play. Leaves it for Ringer. Ringer with a lane, but gets cut off by a couple of Pioneers. Puck was just moving closer and closer to the net. Eventually Sacred Heart gets on it, and Paige McNeil clears it down. Boy, number one power play in the conference for a reason. It didn't look great the first time around, as Post was able to make it 1-0 thanks to Rowan Ringer earlier in the game. This time around, that penalty kill looking much, much better for Sacred Heart. Farman moves into the zone. She takes a shot, gets deflected into the netting, and we'll have another face-off. 20 seconds left on this man advantage for Post University. Overall in the game, getting outshot 24-12. But the only stat that matters is the one on the scoreboard. It's 2-0 Post, looking to make it 3-0. False start called on Jody Rose, number 21 on the offense, and we'll have to redo it. Rose has a couple of words for the linesman, but eventually does get out of the circle. Macy Peterson replaces her, loses the faceoff. Nice win that time for Addie Bowlby. But Post retains possession. Can they get one last push here on the power play? Amons to the blue line. Now into that far corner, now back to Pitter. Pitter tries to send one on net. The rebound opportunity and a great save by Larson. That's going to bring us back to even strength, but the Post still has possession. Jody Rose sends it across the slot. No one there to collect it. They'll reset things. Farberman tries to send it in. Her shot gets blocked. Even strength here. Sacred Heart trying to get out of there. They do get out of their defensive end temporarily. Post sends it right back in, and now they're trying to set up a breakout. McNeil into the offensive zone for Anatonkis. Puck loose out in front, no one there to receive the pass, and now can the Eagles come the other way with it? Just over 2 minutes to go here in this third period as icing is called. Here in the second period of play, we'll give you a bit of the stat rundown. It's 11 shots on goal in favor of Sacred Heart, only 6 for Post University. Both teams have had a single power play attempt, and how about Post with a 9-6 face-off advantage here in the second? Tried to make it 10-6, but couldn't do so. Close face-off play there. Sacred Heart won it, but Post comes away with it. Brianna Morden, who took a hard hit earlier back in this game, she lost the puck in her own defensive zone. Hannah Luckman picked it up, just tried to slow things down, and Luckman has it on her stick once again. Leaves it for Curry. Curry into the offensive zone, just sent it out in front, but no one was there to receive the pass. Good rebound chance for Vonda Noodlear, but her shot got blocked. With less than 2 minutes left. Brianna Morden sends it up the ice. Really nice play. This is Bowlby. Addie Bowlby gets cut off. Good play defensively from Post as Luckman has it on her stick. She slowly takes it into the offensive end, eventually just dumps it in so the Eagles can get a few changes in. Bowlby clears the defensive zone, but Karis Kell is right there to pick it up for Post. Kell loses a man off into the far boards and just dumps it into the offensive zone. Neither team has had a great amount of success really getting set up in their offensive end. Early in periods, the advantage has definitely gone Sacred Heart's ways, but later it's been more Post. And now we're down to the final minute of this second period. Larson sends it up the ice, couldn't find a man, but somehow Post does come away with it. Macy Peterson tries to deke around Anastasia Sloan, and a good poke check from Sloan. Now Limke. Limke into the offensive zone for Sacred Heart. Looks for a pass, couldn't find one, slows it down behind the net. Now the one-time opportunity. Nice save from Saunders. Another chance and another pass out in front, but that one got deflected before it ever hit the netting. And Farberman comes away with it for Post University. Less than 30 seconds to go in the second period. One last change for the Eagles, maybe one last push for the Pioneers. Karis Kell has it for Post University, just trying to really slow things down. Looks like Post just more than happy to get away with a 2-0 lead if they can. Kaylee Smith around the boards, back behind the netting. And with 5 seconds to go, maybe one more chance. Peyton Bennett with a shot, and that one gobbled up by Saunders as she had to make a literal last-second save as we're 9/10 of a second away from going to the second intermission. So not much to do here on either side. Maybe a quick shot off the face-off of your Sacred Heart. If you're Post, you're trying as hard as you can to just tie up everyone and anyone. The drop, the tie-up, and the buzzer. And Post University takes a 2-0 lead into the second period. Both teams with another power play opportunity, but neither one can come through in this second as Lauren Larson and Hannah Saunders have both been phenomenal here in Shelton. The in-state rivalry heads to the third after the second intermission break. It's Post University 2, Sacred Heart University nothing. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut as we're just about 90 seconds away from starting this third and probably final period of play, although we've seen plenty of overtime games here in Shelton so far this season. And how about this score? It's the Post University Eagles holding on to a 2-0 lead over the first place Sacred Heart University Pioneers. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll recap all of the first two periods. We'll give you a little bit about the third period. But before we get to all of that, we do have to give a special shout out to my boss. I'll win some points here, but also the athletic director of the program, Michael Vesci. It's a really quite a spectacular goal for Vesci. He was named to the College Sports Communicators 30 under 30 list. Now, it might not sound super spectacular, but take a listen to some of these achievements that he just got by being named to this list. He's the first head director in Connecticut by being named to the 30 under 30 list. He's also the first Division II director to be named to the 30 under 30 list. Michael Vesci is really doing quite a spectacular job. I don't know if he's right behind me. He is, but congratulations to him. Really, we're so happy and so proud of him, and quite honestly, thankful for giving me a job. I really appreciate it. Now, Vesci's a great guy, and obviously we're super happy for him. But the third period here is about to start. We're off to a 2-0 Post University lead. Remember earlier in this game, it was Julia Wysocki with a game misconduct. Direct contact to the head was the official ruling. She was ejected from this period. So on this first line for Post, it looks a little bit different than it did to start the game. It's that first line forward grouping out there for Sacred Heart as well. Fans making some noise, and we're underway for the final 20 minutes here in Shelton. Can Sacred Heart come back down 2-0, or can Post University hang on for one of their biggest wins of the season? Immediately, the Pioneers go into the offensive zone. Someone's stick went flying into the air. Post can't quite clear it out. Sacred Heart sends it in just a little bit deeper, but now Makavakis has it. Makavakis sends it out of the defensive zone. Savannah Popick has it, and ultimately she couldn't handle it cleanly. Ringer into the offensive end, takes the shot, she scores! Rowan Ringer right off the bat, 30 seconds in, makes it a 3-0 Post lead. Ringer's second goal of the game. First one came on the power play, this one on the breakaway. And that was a bullet into the top shelf just over the blocker, and it's a commanding lead for the Eagles. So how about Post University? Looking to hold on to what is now a 3-0 lead, getting a bit more insurance for Rowan Ringer. That's her 6th goal of the season, her 2nd today, and her 12th point of the season. Now takes the solo team lead in points, as well as the solo team lead in goals. Does Sacred Heart have any type of answer in them? If they want to get back into this game, it feels like they have to score fairly early in this period, although you do know their offense can be very high-powered. They take a quick, easy shot on goal, lazily stopped aside by Hannah Saunders. Goes back behind the netting, Vonda Noodlar picks it up. Post couldn't quite clear it. Now Sacred Heart going in for a change. A couple people still heavy on the forecheck. And how about Sacred Heart trying to retain possession through neutral ice? Vonda Noodlar does come away with it. Dumps it into the offensive end. And now the Eagles looking to get a change in. Post trying to move things into the offensive zone. It was Ty Marie Grom who got cut off right at the blue line. Sacred Heart resetting things. Now they drift through central ice. Bria Holm tried to handle it, but couldn't do it cleanly. A nice stick from Tristan Curry to poke check that one away, as we're 2 minutes into this third period. A lot of back and forth play so far. Not quite a ton of sustained offensive possession, but if you're the Eagles, you didn't need it. Rowan Ringer with her 2nd goal of the game to start this third period off with a bang. Bria Holm, stands up on a hit. Good play by her to just knock down Tristan Curry. Puck goes into the Post University defensive end of things. Curry picks it up herself now, just shoots it forward. If it goes on net, it'll avoid an icing, and it does. Through neutral ice, Katie Keenan has it, just dumps it into the offensive end. Chasing after it, Paige McNeil, couldn't quite get it cleanly. Macy Peterson collects for Post. Good pass up the ice. She found Paige Piper for a second, but Piper couldn't find a woman of her own, and it goes the other way. High dump in for Sacred Heart into that near corner. Angeline Pitter comes away with it. Not the greatest spacing in the world as Post was trying to get out of their defensive zone, and they turn it over. Back and forth goes these two teams, but if you're the Eagles, once again, you're happy with that. Just trying to get time off the clock, cling on to a 3-goal advantage as it gets tied up in the far corner. There's also a loose stick out on the ice, but it's someone on the bench, so it'll stay there until the next whistle. Good. No look pass that time. Off the stick of Faberman right to Rowan Ringer. Can Ringer get the hat trick as she moves into the offensive end of things? Gets tied up and the puck gets taken away off her stick in that far corner. Now Sacred Heart has it. Campbell Hager looking to find a woman to pass to, turns it over. Good forecheck here from Post University. I believe it's Jet Devlin who took it away. Left it behind the offensive net. Back out towards the blue line. Pitter takes a shot. Good screen opportunity, but a better save from Lauren Larson. Her first save of the period on the second shot of the period with 16:19 to go. By the way, it was Karis Kelstick who was down on the far end of the ice as she gets off the bench and races over to collect it quickly. Faceoff comes to the left of Lauren Larson. It's Jet Devlin in there for Post University. They drop the puck. Both teams get tied up. Still loose out there, and eventually Sacred Heart comes away with it. Now coming through into the offensive zone, Kate Hegelson. She has the second most points on the team. You always got to watch out for her. One of the more experienced players on this roster. Once again, Post really doing a great job of not letting Sacred Heart get to the center of the ice, get into those prime goal-scoring areas. And really, you're just seeing Sacred Heart get into the offensive zone, but immediately the puck goes right back out, like it did right there. They try it again here. It does go on net off to Hannah Saunders. Goes back into this near boards. Savannah Popick laid her body out to prevent that puck from getting cleared. But Sacred Heart decides to go with a line change instead. And now Post University looking to break out. Jody Rose lost it for a second at neutral ice. Sacred Heart tries to clean it up, and they do. Bria Holm looked to have it, lost it for a second. A nice heads-up play from Marley Webster to poke check it free. Back to those near corners. Allie Cohen gets bodied by Jody Rose. Good pass out into the slot, but couldn't get handled cleanly. That was off the stick of Olivia LaRoche. Another good opportunity. A great save from Saunders. Boy, dangerous shot in the slot. Not sure who's off the stick of. Might have been Allie Cohen. Puck goes into the near corner, and a good one-time opportunity. Ooh, went off the shoulder of Saunders. Good awareness from her to block that one aside. Back around the netting it goes. Bria Holm got heavily tripped up. Hand goes up. There'll be a penalty called. Not even sure who it's on yet. It looks like it might be on Marley Webster. It was ruled a tripping penalty, but once again, there's no definitive motion made as to who goes off the ice. Still no one really moving towards any penalty box yet. And it looks like it's going to be a power play for Sacred Heart. Man, it was a late entry into the box for Marley Webster, but she does get ruled down with the tripping. And hey, Post University's penalty kill so far today has been astounding. They're 0 for 2 on the power play so far is Sacred Heart, and in fact, Post University has a shorthanded goal. They win the face-off. It goes into that far corner. Tried to clear the zone, couldn't do so. Back towards the blue line, now into the slot. There's a shot on goal, but deflects before it ever hit the net. Back in these near boards, now to the corner. Savannah Popick. To the other end, LaRoche. LaRoche takes a slap shot, but that one goes wide. Now Popick collects in the near boards. Back to Ty Marie Grom. Now to the blue line, but Popick couldn't handle it clearly, and Sacred Heart will have to touch it up. Addie Brown re-enters the offensive area. Bank pass to herself. A really good move from Brown. Goes around the netting. Gets cut off. Karis Kell picks it up, leaves it for Peterson. Peterson tries to clear the zone, couldn't do so, and Sacred Heart retains possession. Karis Kell tied up with a couple of Pioneers in that far corner. A couple of bodies fall to the ground. No one has the puck yet. As time just continues to tick down here. 13:45 left to go in the period, less than a minute to go on the power play. Penalty assessed to Marley Webster for what I believe was a tripping. Back to the blue line, LaRoche with a slap shot. That one nowhere close. Ty Marie Grom clears it. Out of the defensive zone, it goes all the way down behind the netting of SHU. And the Pioneers will reset. Complete platoon swap for Post University as they get a couple of fresh legs out there. Sacred Heart dumps it into the offensive end of things. Helgeson into the far corner, gets cut off. Good job by Danny Amons, just harassing Kate Helgeson there. But a better play by Sacred Heart keeping the puck in. That was Peyton Bennett who kept it in. Now into the slot, 1-on-3, and a good poke check from Post University. Over to the far end, into the far corner. Back up to the boards now, as there's less than 10 seconds to go, and the puck clears the defensive end. That'll likely do it on the woman advantage for Sacred Heart. Less than 2 seconds to go, and we're back at even strength. Marley Webster gets out of the penalty box, and how about Post University? 3 for 3 on the penalty kill today. Sacred Heart still has possession. Smith takes the shot. Oh, beautiful kick save from Saunders. She was fighting through a couple bodies to see that one. Another one-time chance. Another save from Saunders. There's a good poke check to block the shot there. Another good opportunity. But once again, Saunders fighting through his screen and kicking the puck aside. Less than 13 minutes left in this third period. McCavicus moving through central ice into the offensive zone, just shoots it on net, where Jet Devlin actually collects the rebound and takes another shot, but an easy save for Lauren Larson. Now Post trying to get some offensive possession. Couldn't really sustain it. Ooh, ice is slippery as Hager falls down at neutral ice, and Post tries to send it back into the offensive end. Riley Patfield in the offensive zone. She gets poke checked away, and that forces Larson to cover it up. A little bit of extracurricular pushing and shoving afterwards. Jody Rose in the face-off circle going up against Campbell Hager. And Rose wins the face-off, but the Eagles will have to reset things at neutral ice. They dump it into the offensive end. Off to collect it is Anastasia Sloan. Shifting through to the defensive end, and now through neutral ice. Paige McNeil, wow, the ice must be really slippery right there. That's the second Sacred Heart Pioneer to fall down in the same exact spot. They got a bad angle shot on goal, an easy save for Saunders. Less than 12 minutes left in this third period. The Pioneers in the offensive end. Hager, fanned on a pass, gets cut off by Jody Rose. A great play from her as the Eagles can clear out the defensive zone. Goes all the way down the ice. You would have thought it would have been an icing, but it wasn't whistled down for it. So Sacred Heart will have to reset things. Paige McNeil couldn't quite handle it at center ice. Goes back to her teammate. And they just dump it in, do the Pioneers. Let's see if Post can have a breakout play here. Decent pass gets tipped right into the stick of Tristan Curry. She couldn't quite handle it. Marley Webster resets things, just shoots it into that far corner. Sacred Heart now switching the ice, coming the other way. Allie Cohen sent it to the far end. Bria Holm couldn't quite get into the offensive zone there. She still has it on her stick, and now she does. Bria Holm going 3-on-1. Great poke check from Karis Kell. Prevents the shot on goal, and Kell lays out Bria Holm into the board. She is down hard. No whistle is being called. It's 5-on-4, and now the whistle is called. Bria Holm hard into the boards, down on the ice for the second time tonight. The athletic trainer has to come on out rushing. Holm getting help to her feet, and once again a scary sight. Boy, we've seen some really, really physical play as Thomas O'Malley wants to have a word with the referees about that latest hit from Post University. Doesn't look like any type of penalty is going to be called. It did look like Holm might have been slipping into the boards prior to the hit, and sometimes it is just incidental. All 5 skaters are out on the ice for Post University right now. No one's going to the box, so no penalty called. It'll remain 5-on-5. Bria Holm was able to get off to the bench under her own power. Hopefully she's okay. Just about halfway through this third period of play, it was Rowan Ringer's second goal of the game that made it 3-0 in favor of Post University, looking for the win against the first place Sacred Heart Pioneers. Danny Amons just slows things down in her own defensive end, gets tied up. Goes into that far corner now. Pass into the slot, but it was a bouncing puck. No one could handle it cleanly as Savannah Popick resets things. Sacred Heart dumps into the offensive zone. Angeline Pitter there to collect. Into the far corner now, but Sacred Heart does get it instead. That was Peyton Bennett who was able to race after it, only for a quick second. A couple of Eagles there to cut it off. Now back into the far corner, behind the netting it goes. Long base pass, but bank pass, couldn't get it out of the zone. Peyton Bennett's cut it off instead. The interception in the offensive end of things leaves it for Kaylee Smith. Smith pass out in the slot, good opportunity, and a great play that time. That was Paige Piper with the big hit to prevent the shot on goal from Helgeson. Back towards the blue line, Bennett's with a slap shot, and that one gets blocked aside. The rebound chance misses just wide. Sacred Heart still has possession. Bennett's chasing after it, trying to keep it in the offensive end. She does. Dumps it back behind the netting. Pitter there to collect. Tied up in the near corner, Macy Peterson in there as well. And now a really good chance. I believe Hannah Saunders got her stick on that one. We'll call it a save. At neutral ice, into the offensive zone it goes. Saunders touches it behind her own net before Danny Amons collects it for Post University. Back around the boards, it goes off the leg of the referee. And we're seeing Sacred Heart get more and more aggressive on this forecheck as time dwindles down here in this third period. Just about 8 minutes left to go. Near corner, Sacred Heart keeps it in the offensive end. Sloan leaves it off for her teammate, Bria Holm. Good to see her back out on the ice. Allie Cohen takes a shot. That one chested away from Hannah Saunders. Still at the blue line, though. Another opportunity, and a wrist shot gets saved. Hannah Saunders with a little bit of extra words for Bria Holm, as it looked like Bria Holm might have played that one with a high stick. We have a media timeout. 7 minutes, 50 seconds to go here in this third period as Post looking to hang on to their 3-0 lead. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut. Just about 8 minutes left in this third period. Quick shot on goal off the face-off win for Sacred Heart. Easy save for Saunders. Now the tie-up in that far corner back behind the netting. Rowan Ringer comes away with it. Already has 2 goals today for Post University with a lot of speed through central ice and into the offensive zone. Ringer takes a screen shot. Believe it goes on net. A couple of saves. The puck is still loose. And ultimately it's Lauren Larson coming away with a bunch of saves there. Back into Post's offensive zone where Casey Von Den Udelaar will swing it around the boards. Actually went on net for a quick second, and Hannah Saunders has to cover it up. Tough angled shot, believe, from Kaylee Smith. Boy, what a game we're seeing from Post University today, really in many, many facets. You just have to be extremely happy if you're Pat Bingham going up against one of the tougher teams, if not the toughest team in the Newha this year. And as of now, shutting them out 3-0. Post able to get it out of their defensive end of things where Ruby Mitchell collects it. Mitchell getting tied up in that far corner. Goes out to Karis Kell, who took a shot, but that one went wide. Might have deflected off a body before it ever got towards the netting. Sacred Heart through neutral ice, got cut off. Riley Pathfield now has it. Tied up with Kate Keenan. Puck goes into the defensive zone of Post. Karis Kell has it, back to Patfield. Patfield couldn't handle it cleanly. Sacred Heart not able to keep it in the offensive zone, and Jody Rose able to just send it a bit deeper. Eagles get a change in. See a couple more pushes from Sacred Heart. And really, you have to start scoring right away if you're trying to have any semblance of getting back in this game if you're the Pioneers. Tristan Curry into the offensive zone. She takes a quick wrist shot, and that one goes behind the goalie, Larson. She dives down behind her, and she covers it up. Boy, smart heads-up play from Tristan Curry. Just kind of a surprise shot there from a pretty far distance. Don't believe Larson was truly ready for it. It snuck in between her blocker and her pad, and she had to dive behind her to cover it up. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the final period of play. Curry's back in the face-off circle for Post. She loses it there as Sacred Heart comes away with it. They leave their defensive zone through neutral ice. Paige McNeil tries to swing it forward. She gets cut off quickly. Helgeson couldn't collect it, and now Post has it once again. Grayson Limke for Sacred Heart with a lot of speed, but gets cut off by Pitter. Pitter with a really nice defensive play as the puck goes all the way around the boards into the corner. Even better play from Hannah Luckman to clear the defensive zone. She chases after it, but Sacred Heart does collect. Back to Limke right here at the near boards. For Helgeson. Helgeson with a shot. That one got deflected wide. Great block from Danny Amons. Puck goes all the way down the ice. Would have been an icing, but Lauren Larson decided to touch it instead. Back through neutral ice goes Sacred Heart and all the way into the offensive end. Vanda Noodlear picks it up. Leaves it for Larson, who leaves it for Peterson. Now Peterson, the bank pass, tried to get Noah Farberman there, couldn't quite hit her. Sacred Heart through neutral ice. Into the offensive zone. 5 minutes to go left in this third period. Ooh, a tough bounce, tricky bounce. Off the boards right into the crease of Hannah Saunders, and she smartly covers it up. 5 minutes, 2 seconds here in this third and final period of play, barring a dramatic comeback from Sacred Heart. Stay tuned for our post-game show. After the game today, we'll have our player, maybe players of the game. Couple of nominees to choose from. Hannah Saunders currently working with a shutout. Rowan Ringer with 2 goals. How about Selena McKavikis with the shorthanded? Of course, all that to say that there's still 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in this one. Great defensive play. That was Selena McKavikis again. And now Post goes into the offensive end. Jet Devlin passes it into the slot. The shot! No whistle as of yet, and it's a beautiful save from Lauren Larson, who covers it up. Boy, it looked like a 2-on-1 and a great one-time opportunity. Couldn't tell who got the shot off for Post University, but Larson says no. Looks like it was a mix of Jet Devlin, Selena McKavikis racing up the ice, passing back and forth to one another. So offensive zone face-off now. And Post wins it. Back out toward the blue line, drifting up the center. Karis Kell couldn't quite connect on the shot. And good play by Riley Patfield just to tip the puck into the corner, send it deeper into the offensive zone. Sacred Heart gets out of their defensive end. Now drifting through neutral ice into the offensive zone. Pass out into the slot. A great play by Ella Holm. A beautiful blocker save from Saunders. Prevents the first goal from going in. McKavikis, smart dump in, just chips it up into the air, and the entire Eagles line is going to get a change here. Addie Bowlby through center ice just shoots it into the Eagles' offensive end. Marley Webster to pick it up in that far corner. Couldn't handle it cleanly. It gets cut off. Beautiful pass. Kaylee Smith looked like she was able to handle it, but for whatever reason just didn't take the shot drifting into the offensive end. Back out towards the blue line. This is Bennett's. Bennett's with a hard slap shot ripped up and right into the glove of Hannah Saunders. Hannah Saunders gets a couple of taps from her teammates on the helmets with 3.5 minutes left to go in this third period of play. Boy, this third period started off with a bang. It was Rowan Ringer very quickly with her second goal of the game that put Post University up 3-0. And there's a heavy slap shot, gets deflected, and now a wraparound chance pass into the slot, and the shot goes wide. Boy, a couple of A-grade opportunities for Sacred Heart, but couldn't capitalize on their chances. Another slap shot. The puck is still loose out in front. Hannah Saunders takes it away, and she covers it up. Oh, beautiful save from Hannah Saunders as she's been tested in the last few minutes. Boy, Hannah Saunders making a case for goalie of the year in the New Hall, already in the top 3 in both save percentage and goals against average, looking for her 3rd shutout of the season today, and boy, she's earning it here in this 3rd. Face-off win for Post University. It goes out of their defensive end, and that's crucial, if nothing else, just to give Saunders a second to breathe. Now into the offensive zone. Or in the defensive zone, Sacred Heart tries to break out. They do. Through neutral ice, Anatonkus can't quite get the pass to go. She got cut off, and Sacred Heart has to reset. Olivia LaRoche dumps it into the offensive end. Less than 3 minutes here in this 3rd period. Around the boards it goes. Tristan Curry collects. Curry with a lot of speed, but she got cut off by Holm into the offensive zone, and Curry just trying to send it in deeper, can't do so. Holm doing a great job tying her up at that near boards. Bria Holm comes away with it herself eventually, sends it across the ice. A lot of space here for Sacred Heart to try to make a move. They dump it in. Brooke Larson cuts it off. 2.5 minutes left in this 3rd period. Good forecheck here from Sacred Heart, but couldn't sustain the possession that they're so desperately looking for here in this 3rd. Addie Bowlby making a good move into the offensive end. Ella just takes a shot, but couldn't quite get that one to fall. Ella Holm, I should have said. Back out towards the blue line. Kaylee Smith takes the slap shot, deflects and bounces, still loose out in front, hits a couple of bodies, never quite hit the netting, and eventually Hannah Saunders has to cover it up. Boy, that must have hit 2 or 3 bodies before Hannah Saunders finally was able to see it right in front of her. She was able to just slow things down once again. Here in this 3rd period, we're still waiting for some of the game stats to load, but only 1 minute and 53 seconds left. Here in this 3rd period, 18 shots on goal in the 3rd alone for Sacred Heart, but still, Hannah Saunders just proving to be a tough puzzle to crack, as she has seemed to have some equipment issue right now. Pretty crucial face-off win for Post, as they can try to clear it down and kill some more time off of this game. McKavicus into the offensive zone, leaves it for Ringer. Couple of back and forth passes between the two of them, and ultimately Sacred Heart comes away with it. Boy, good play by Helgeson, but Helgeson gets harassed by 3 different Eagles who eventually take the puck away in their own defensive zone. Rowan Ringer with a bank pass to herself, just tries to tip it ahead. Gets cut off eventually, and now Paige McNeil has it. McNeil gets tied up along those far boards. Don't believe down 3 goals we're going to see any type of empty net attempts, as a whistle, a hand up, and a whistle is ruled. Not sure if there was any type of late penalty called or no. I believe it just hit the rafters there. So we'll have a neutral zone or an offensive zone face-off for Post. Over 1 minute to go left in this 3rd period. Here in this 3rd period as well, it's a 9-5 face-off advantage for Sacred Heart. If you look at all of the quote-unquote important stats in this game, the shots on goal, the hits, the penalties, the face-off percentage, it's all going in Sacred Heart's favor, but it's Hannah Saunders and some really timely goals for Post University that sees them up 3-0. Angeline Pitter, Danny Amons now in their own defensive zone. 45 seconds to go, and that one just goes into the bench. We'll have yet another whistle here. Game started in the 1st period. It was a power play goal for Rowan Ringer. At the time, that was her 5th goal of the season. Eventually, Selena McKavicus got the shorthanded goal when Julia Wysocki was assessed the 5-minute major in the game misconduct. And then Rowan Ringer, less than a minute into this 3rd period, got her 2nd of the game to make it 3-0. Large slap shot attempt off the stick of Olivia LaRoche, but it missed the netting. Goes back into the corner. Couple of Pioneers were right there, but couldn't really handle it. A quick shot on goal. Saunders stops that one aside as she tries to keep her shutout intact in the last 30 seconds here. Puck stays still along those far boards. Eventually Post does come and collect it. Angeline Pitter now has it in the near corner. Pitter just dances behind her own netting once again, just trying to waste some time around the boards, out of the defensive zone. Sacred Heart shoots her right back in. But with 5 seconds to go, the second to last place Post University Eagles, they will take down the first place Sacred Heart Pioneers, defend home ice. Hannah Saunders gets her third shutout of the season, and the Eagles are ecstatic. It's a 3-0 victory. Rowan Ringer with 2 goals, Selena Mikavicus with a shorthanded goal herself, and the Eagles take game 1 of this 2-game home-and-home series against their cross-state rival, Sacred Heart. So don't go anywhere. We'll have our post-game interviews, a little bit of a recap for you, and we'll preview tomorrow's game as it's 3-0 your final score in favor of Post University. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut. A very quiet Shelton Sports Center of Connecticut now, as we'll recap this game for you. It was a 3-0 post-university win over the Sacred Heart University Pioneers. Boy, what a game it was today. We're still waiting for our first and our third stars of the game to come up and join me in the booth respectively for a bit of a post-game interview. But until then, we'll give you a bit of a recap. It all started in the first period. It was a power play goal for Rowan Ringer. It was her 5th goal of the season, assisted by that awesome second line for Post University. Selena Mikavakis, Julia Wysocki, that put Post up 1-0, and then late in the second period, after a 5-minute major and a game misconduct assessed to Julia Wysocki for contact to the head, it was Selena Mikavakis, short-handed, intercepted a puck at center ice, took it into the offensive zone, and finished it off with a beautiful move to make it 2-0 in favor of the Eagles. For Mikavakis, that was her second short-handed goal of the season. She's the only skater on this entire Post-University roster who has 2 shorthanders on the season. And then early in the third, about 30 seconds in, Rowan Ringer with a bullet of a shot to the top shelf. Her second of the game made it 3-0, and that would be our final score all the way until the end. How about Hannah Saunders today in this game? She has her 3rd shutout once again of the season, and overall, as I pull up her numbers real quick, she stopped a total of 46 of 46 today. Just a beautiful performance from Hannah Saunders. And a great game, the 2nd win in program history against Sacred Heart for Post University. And just wait a few more minutes while we're getting our couple stars of the game to come on up here for their interviews. But until then, stay right here. Do this.
Okay.
Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut here in Shelton. I'm joined alongside our first star of the game, Rowan Ringer. And Rowan, what a fantastic game tonight. The second ever program win against Sacred Heart University. And you were the first star of the game. 2 goals, 1 on the power play. Just take me through tonight's action, how that all felt.
Well, it felt great. Battle of the States. They used to play in this rink, so there's a little bit of a rivalry, so it feels good to beat them always. Even better with the shutout Saunders.
Yeah.
Awesome job. The team just worked hard, played hard, heads down. The break was good for us, so hopefully we can bring that into tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 games or 2 teams coming into this matchup on a little bit of a skid. You guys obviously get the get-right game over Sacred Heart. They're in first place in this division. As I mentioned earlier, it's not a whole lot of history between you two. So what does that mean when you guys can take down pretty decisively the first-place team in the conference like that?
I think it just really exemplifies that there's always a chance. As playoffs are coming around in 2 months, you can always climb up the ranks. And our coach was talking about the St. Louis Blues before the game and how they came from last place to winning the Stanley Cup. And while we're not last place, we could always climb further up and take more teams down.
You're never out of it in the hockey season, ain't that the truth? And similar to the St. Louis Blues, who at that time had Jordan Binnington in net, you guys, Hannah Saunders has been tremendous this season. Just speak a bit on your netminder and what kind of confidence that gives you as a skater on the ice. Just, hey, you know that she's got your back there.
Yeah, well, she's confident in her abilities, and she's just a brick wall back there. So obviously the team just has the utmost confidence in her. And I think that it always helps the fact that she believes in us as our captain, as our wall behind us. She just believes in us and our abilities. And even if we might let a couple bad ones go by, but she'll always have our backs and, just support us no matter what.
And we don't have to talk about those few that do go by, the very few that they are. Last question for you, Rowan. Obviously, you're a freshman on this team. You're playing on one of the best lines in the NUHA between yourself, Julia Wysocki, and Selena Mikavickas. I was noticing this earlier. Yourself a freshman, Wysocki a senior, Mikavickas a sophomore. You're all from different provinces and different countries. How do you guys get along and bond so well that you've turned into one of the top lines, not just in the conference, but in Division I hockey?
Well, Selena and Julia are both just big personalities, so it's easy to just be at home with them, if you know what I mean.
100%.
They know exactly who they are, and they're so confident in themselves that it just, again, same with the whole team, it just makes it easy for you to believe in yourself and believe in your abilities. And they're such good players. They're so smart. They always know where the puck is. Their hockey IQ is some of the best that I've ever played with, so it's just easy to mesh with them and play with them.
Well, it really showed on the ice tonight. Rowan, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. Our first star of the game, Rowan Ringer. We'll be back with Selena Mikavickas in just a little bit. Welcome back into the rinks at the Shelton Sports Center of Connecticut. I'm joined by tonight's third star of the game, Selena Mikavickas. And Selena, what a start to this game. You guys got the quick goal on the power play from Rowan Ringer, and then the second goal of the game was that beautiful shorthanded goal off the turnover from yourself. So can you just take us through that, your second shorty of the season?
Yeah, our PK is just pretty aggressive, so just, I guess, getting that puck, it's happened twice, just putting pressure on the D, get nervous, and just go down.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. So it's pretty evident to me, at least watching a couple of these games, that you guys are aggressive on the forecheck. It doesn't matter if you're down a woman, up a woman, you're trying to take the puck in the offensive zone. What kind of emphasis has Coach Brigham brought to that? And obviously it's led to your 2 shorthanded goals early in the season.
I think it's just as the least amount of time you give them is how you're going to create turnovers, and they get nervous, and just give them less seconds to make a play.
Is that a main point of emphasis coming into the game from Coach Bingham? Like, hey, we want to be really aggressive on the forecheck tonight, or typically not? It's just something that you guys are really naturally that good at.
It's just something we practice a lot, and I think it's brought a lot to our team.
I want to ask you about Hannah Saunders, her third shutout of this season against the top-ranked offense in the conference tonight. Just how fantastic has she been back there in between the pipes?
She's been great. Teams collapse a lot, during the game, and she's just always there to have our back. So that's something that's great from her. We love her.
She had a couple of spectacular ones tonight, and once again, her third shutout of the season. Last question for you. What a lethal second line this is turning in for you guys. Rowan Ringer, yourself, and Julia Wysocki. Can you just explain a little bit how that chemistry has come together this season and how you guys have been so productive?
I think it's just a lot of chemistry on and off the ice. Our entire team's really great friends, and I think we can just build off of that and bring it on the ice.
Well, congratulations, Selena. Thank you so much for the time. And, man, second program win against Sacred Heart. That's a lot to hang your head on.
Yeah, super exciting.
Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon we will be not back tomorrow afternoon. That'll be over at Sacred Heart University for the Home and Home series. But until then,